You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while the township supervisor.
Legal appointment, that's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next.
During a recent meeting with the inhabitants of Dolton, Illinois, Tiffany Henyard made headlines for all the wrong reasons, and her most recent public appearance only served to stoke the flames. She showed no signs of backing down, entering the room with assurance as though nothing could touch her. The town's residents, who were obviously expecting an apology or at least an explanation, were taken aback by what transpired next, even though the village was already on edge due to growing allegations of financial mismanagement, corruption, and chaos.
Several new developments in South Suburban Dolton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial.
Tiffany Henyard did the unimaginable by humiliating the residents of Dolton with a $2 million budget deficit hanging over the village. The residents had gathered to seek answers, but Henyard took a different approach, shockingly blaming the residents for their own problems. That's correct. She informed the residents of the municipality that their financial difficulties, and the meeting swiftly descended into a show of arrogance, with Henyard reprimanding the residents for what she called their quarrelsome and, in her opinion, their incapacity to manage their own community. It felt like a scene from a movie where the villain no longer pretends to be nice. As if Dolton hadn't been in desert since she took office, their frustrations were entirely their fault. She basically moved to fire key, implied that the true source of the town's problems was the destitution and disarray of its citizens. Given that she has already been charged with misusing public monies for private indulgences, it is not surprising that Dolton is already experiencing financial difficulties. The atmosphere in the room was high as citizens who had come looking for answers were the target of Henyard's scathing comments, leaving them speechless. The mayor dismissed the accusations as though they were unworthy of her. She appeared utterly unaffected by the increasing unrest, acting as though she was unstoppable. And why wouldn't she? In spite of all the scandals and accusations, she continues to hold her position as mayor with what seems to be total impunity.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Remembering who we're working with here is important. Henyard isn't just any public figure. She's been in the news a lot, but for all the wrong reasons. Reports have connected her to some highly dubious actions, such as allegations of financial impropriety and tales of extravagant expenses for oneself. And let's not ignore the fact that the FBI is now looking into her for corruption. That's correct. Even though the federal probe is looming over her, Henyard still visits public gatherings and speaks to the public as if she were untouchable.
The government always does it, is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing.
She has been accused of utilizing village finances for personal shopping sprees at Amazon, Target, and even Wayfair, and rumors have it that she spent over $33,000 on Amazon in a single day. This is one of the most alarming aspects of Henyard. Time is made. $33,000 in public funds used on internet purchases. Meanwhile, while Dolton's spending keeps going downhill, Henyard appears to be totally unapologetic. In fact, she has doubled down on her claims that everything is good and accusing the village's problems on the residents themselves. At a recent meeting, Henyard made it clear that she wasn't there to answer questions or have any meaningful conversations. Instead, she used the opportunity to attack the very people she was elected to represent. One person called the scene cold and emotionless, claiming that she didn't have any empathy and simply sat there telling us that we were to blame while we were faced with the mess she had created.
A one day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
the FBI has been looking into her for months after receiving numerous complaints from former employees, business owners, and public officials. They have issued subpoenas, gathered records, and even questioned a number of people close to the mayor. But despite everything, Henyard continues to act as though she is untouchable and goes about her business as usual, seemingly unaffected by the scrutiny surrounding her. This is a super mayor, "You're the people's mayor," and citizens, her claimed offenses appear to be a long range of corrupt practices, and the misappropriation of public monies is only the first. According to some sources, Henyard has even weaponized the local police force by employing officers to further her personal grudges and has been accused of using her position to intimidate anyone who dared to challenge her and of manipulating village contracts to suit her inner circle. According to reports, she has used police officers to drive her to and from private parties at government expense.
Those officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around protecting.
The dispute is not over yet. It has also been alleged that Henyard has appointed close friends to important posts in the community despite their lack of qualifications. Her selection of a new village administrator, which many see as a prime example, despite the fact that the previous administrator had not yet been formally removed from office, the Henyard went ahead with the appointment as if nothing could stop her.
Addressing things as the supervisor, there will be no comments, there will be anything, it will be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
The most concerning aspect of Henyard's behavior is probably how blatantly audacious it is. She keeps holding public meetings, scheduling appointments, and using village funds as though they were her own, seemingly oblivious to the fact that her actions are being closely watched by the public and federal authorities. Because of this feeling of invincibility, people are chatting during the meeting, but not in a constructive way, and they are merely being dismissive. Increased the annoyance of the crowd as she continued to place the blame on the residents. One attendee reportedly yelled in protest, "Just arrest her already. She's a criminal and deserves to be in a federal prison." As tensions increased, many people in the room expressed a similar sentiment, saying they were tired of hearing Henyard's attempts to paint herself as the victim.
And for anyone from a township to go to a mayor's conference. A mayor's conference is a mayor's conference.
The fact that there have been no actual repercussions for Henyard, despite all the uproar, is even more frustrating for the town's citizens. Although the FBI is conducting an investigation, it doesn't seem to be proceeding fast enough for the residents of Dolton. One resident even said that it's not a big deal because the FBI isn't interested. This lack of action has left many wondering how far Henyard can push things before the consequences finally catch up with her. But let's face it, Henyard is not the kind to stand by and watch things happen. She has repeatedly demonstrated that she is prepared to fight for her job at any cost, including vetoing the board's attempts to look into her or stopping auditing efforts. The financial situation of the village, since Henyard isn't afraid to use her position of authority to defend herself, it's unlikely that things in Dorm will get better anytime soon as long as she can act with such impunity.
He's not employed by us, so you have got just this gyration.
The mayor has also been known to use her connections to get through difficult times. For example, she invited two powerful defense lawyers to a previous board meeting, and these lawyers aren't just any lawyers. They are renowned for their aggressive defense strategies in high-profile cases. This has caused many to wonder how deeply ingrained the entire scenario is. Is Henyard getting ready for the legal struggle of her life? Or is this just another attempt to increase the level of intimidation directed at her detractors? In this intricate story, Henyard's continuous public relations effort to improve her image, she has attempted to win back public support despite the mounting scandals by announcing a State of the Village address in which she promises to show receipts that will demonstrate her innocence. The catch is that Henyard has not yet disclosed the nature of these receipts or how they will clear her name. This is just another tactic in a string of calculated moves that have left the public in suspense.
Administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily...
Given everything that has transpired, even her most devoted supporters are beginning to doubt her leadership, and it's easy to see why Henyard's tenure in office has been marred by scandals ranging from financial mismanagement to accusations of favoritism and power abuse. She has managed to alienate almost every member of the village's trustees, residents, and even law enforcement, while her detractors are growing louder and more organized, and the locals are tired of her antics and protests outside City Hall, have grown commonplace, with indications such as more accountability and justice for Dolton. driven by irate individuals who want answers. What began as small gatherings has grown into large protests, demonstrating the depth of the discontent. But Henyard still shows no signs of resigning despite the mounting pressure. In fact, she appears to be digging in even more, attending public gatherings as if nothing is wrong, as if she thrives on controversy, as if the attention, whether favorable or unfavorable, feeds her need to hold onto power.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Many people question how long this can go on as emotions rise, and whether Henyard will eventually be held accountable for her conduct or continue to avoid responsibility. Although the question is still unanswered, it is evident that Dolton residents are tired of waiting for justice. What is even more startling is the growing suspicion that Henyard might escape all of this unscathed because she has survived scandal after scandal and investigation after investigation without suffering any significant repercussions. She seems to be playing a game almost. One thing is for sure, though, Tiffany Henyard isn't going down without a fight. She's dug her heels in and has no intention of backing down. The people of Dolton may be furious, frustrated, and demanding answers, but it appears that they will have to wait even longer for any resolution. What do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard truly untouchable, or will her reign as super mayor finally come to an end? Please leave a comment with your opinions, and remember to like, and to receive further updates on this ongoing story, subscribe. Until we meet again, thanks for watching Visual Vortex.